to be physically getting abused on a basketball court in a way that is such a clear and flagrant discrepancy compared to what happens to others, that man is not going to say something?
Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Miss Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. Watching this play out, Caitlin Clark's been hurt. We're watching in front of our very eyes how differently these teams are treating the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark on the court.
Caitlin Clark just sued the WNBA after they dared to violate her civil rights and treat her like a punching bag instead of the face of the league. She boosted their profits, saved their ratings, and what did she get in return? Jealousy, foul play, and now a full-blown legal war.
Physicality has very obviously ratcheted down. It's been tame, downright tame. Maybe Caitlin Clark's civil rights are actually being violated. Is her right to a peaceful workplace, a non-hostile work environment, are those rights being violated?
The Wall Street Journal had to step in and say what the WNBA refuses to admit, that maybe, just maybe, Caitlin Clark's civil rights are being dragged through a wood chipper. And not just casually violated either. We're talking about federal-level red flags here. Sean McLean didn't write some Twitter rant.
Looking at the Wall Street Journal, the author of the article is a guy by the name of Sean McLean. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe.
This was a formal opinion piece in a nationally respected paper saying straight up, Clark might be a legit victim of a hostile workplace. That's not a joke. That's the same legal category where lawsuits fly and people lose their careers. And guess who's being called out in this mess? Yup, the WNBA, the league that pretends it's all about equity and girl power, until the girl making the money gets body checked like she owes someone rent.
Has basically done for the WNBA what Michael Jordan did for the NBA, right?
Instead of, I don't know, protecting the most influential player they've ever had, the WNBA is treating her like she's the embarrassing cousin at the family barbecue. They see her as a PR problem, not a once-in-a-generation athlete, not the one actually making people care about their games. No, they're annoyed that she's too popular, too loud, too white, too successful, too everything.
But Caitlin Clark doesn't get to play under these circumstances, where these girls are just going out there and playing basketball.
The article clearly says if the league won't act to protect its superstar from a hostile environment, the government should do so. And then Stephen A. Smith drops the mic and drags everyone in. He wasn't being subtle either. He literally compared Caitlin's situation to a previous discrimination case the government actually investigated. The Erica Wheeler pregnancy case. You know it's bad when Stephen A. isn't just yelling for ratings. He's warning people that this is legal war territory.
You should demand answers from WNBA leaders, investigate officiating and internal league communications, hold hearings, and insist on real reforms. This is in the Wall Street Journal. The Labor Department
and the WNBA deserves every bit of smoke. Because here's the numbers, and they are nasty. Clark joins the league and boom, League Pass subscriptions shoot up by 366%. Their app engagement, 603%. That's not a typo. 613%. Merchandise sales, 601%. You couldn't scroll 2 minutes without seeing a Fever jersey. She was the reason casual fans even knew there was a team called the Indiana Fever. Before Clark, most people thought that was just a weird kind of flu.
Immediately had charter flights. Merchandise sales soared 601%. Indiana Fever viewership jumped 170%. The team value tripled. League Pass subscriptions climbed 366%.
And the thanks she got? Let's talk about that All-Star game. She shattered the fan vote record, 1.29 million votes. That's more than some presidential candidates get in a primary. And how did her peers reward her? Voted her 9th, not 2nd, not even 5th, 9th, among guards, not even overall, guards. The WNBA player base looked at the person who just put them on private planes and boosted their shoe deals and basically told her, nah, we'd rather pretend you're average. That's not just shady, That's coordinated hater behavior.
Clark shattered fan vote records with 1.29 million All-Star votes, yet ranked only 9th among guards on the player ballot.
Oh, and let's not forget the endorsement deals. $11 million in year one, a rookie. Most WNBA veterans don't even know what that kind of money looks like. And they're mad at her? They should be building statues of her in every arena. Instead, when Clark didn't play the All-Star game, you know what happened? Ratings dropped by 36%. 1 million people didn't bother watching because she wasn't there. That's not a coincidence. That's called impact. And instead of embracing her, the WNBA is out here letting her get clobbered on the court like it's WWE.
6%. They still had over 2 million views, but they had over 3 million last year. It dropped because she wasn't playing. Now, I told y'all.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the injuries. She's missed 10 games. Not because she sprained her ankle doing a TikTok dance, because people keep assaulting her during games while referees sip their coffee. Fans are calling it battery. And honestly, that's not even a reach. Go watch the replays. Elbows to the head, hip checks into the ground, and the refs just pretend they didn't see anything. Stevie Wonder could see what's happening, and even he'd be like, damn.
Routinely faces intentional hits, excessive fouling, and uncalled abuse.
And yet, not one player has been suspended for fouling her flagrantly. Not one. The woman has taken 17% of the league's flagrant fouls. 17. That's double the rate of anyone else. She's a magnet for cheap shots, and somehow the league just shrugs and says, play on. Meanwhile, if she so much as looks at someone sideways, it's a technical foul and a league memo.
Absorbed 17% of the flagrant fouls last season, double her peers' rate. This isn't merely bad officiating, it's dangerous and unequal.
Even her own teammates are saying it. Sophie Cunningham didn't bite her tongue. She straight up said the league isn't protecting its star player. That's not a hot take, that's an internal HR complaint disguised as a quote.
And told the Wall Street Journal she's Caitlin Clark's teammate, the Indiana Fever. The star player of the league is not being protected.
And then you've got Rebecca Lobo, ESPN analyst and former WNBA star, saying every single one of the fouls against Clark was, well, actually a foul. Not exaggerating, not overreacting, just plain old rulebook verified fouls, completely ignored.
Rebecca Lobo, analyst, ESPN. What does she say? Every single one of those plays against Caitlin Clark has been a foul.
And let's be real, this isn't just bad officiating anymore. This is the WNBA systematically ignoring violence against the only reason they're relevant in 2025. The officiating double standards, the public silence from leadership, the player jealousy, all of it adds up. It's not an accident, it's neglect. And that's the kind of thing that gets broadcast deals pulled and antitrust exemptions reconsidered.
Absolutely pure jealousy that the WNBA players voted Caitlin Clark the 9th best guard. Someday they will realize what she has done for all of the players in the WNBA. Chartered planes, increase in salaries, sold out crowds, improved TV ratings, etc. And they ain't lying.
Because guess what? The feds are watching, legal experts are circling, and the WNBA is still pretending nothing's wrong, like they're not one more missed foul call away from a Senate hearing. But sure, keep ignoring the golden goose. Keep treating the face of your league like she's the problem instead of the paycheck. Keep acting like people are tuning in for the teamwork and parity. The truth is, the WNBA was on life support. Caitlin Clark showed up with the defibrillator, and now the league's out here yanking the wires out of spite. You want to know how deep the rot goes? Let's talk about the part that every media outlet's too afraid to scream out loud. But guess who said it? A'ja Wilson. Not some outsider, not some keyboard warrior, a face of the league. And what did she say? Race is a huge thing.
That A'ja Wilson said that these kind of things, she said that race is, quote, a huge thing, and it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. Under civil rights law...
That's the quote. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just pure gasoline on an already burning PR fire. And guess what? She's not wrong. Because this ain't just about blocks, assists, or who can shoot deeper threes. This is about how Caitlin Clark, a white Midwestern girl, is being eaten alive for being too good at the wrong time with the wrong skin tone in the wrong league.
Clark herself noted, quote, "Everybody is physical with me. They get away with things others don't." 3 injuries have sidelined her for 10 games and the All-Star game. Ratings plummeted 55%.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese throws shade, waves her hand in someone's face, claps back at Clark, and gets labeled a queen, an icon, a hero. Clark gets shoved mid-air, hit with no calls, and she's the problem? The mental gymnastics in this league could qualify for the Olympics. And while we're at it, let's not forget, Clark never got in anyone's face first. Her trash talk is basketball 101. But because she's white and not part of the established inner circle, it's interpreted as arrogance. The double standard is so loud it doesn't even need a microphone.
Caitlin Clark brings on herself because she talks, she chirps, she antagonizes. That's how Angel Reese became so famous, because Angel Reese clapped back at her the way she was clapping back at people leading into that national championship loss to LSU a few years back.
And now the league's wading into dangerous territory. The kind where reverse discrimination isn't just a phrase people throw around on Reddit. It's a legal issue, because civil rights law, it doesn't care about your narrative. It doesn't care if you had a message in mind. If Clark's being treated unfairly based on race, whether that means ignoring violence against her or allowing resentment to guide decisions, that's not activism. That's a lawsuit in the making.
This law, race-motivated patterns trigger scrutiny even without explicit discriminatory intent. Systematic missed calls include viral replays of Clark being fouled multiple times in a single possession.
But wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on which side of the legal firing squad you're on. Senator Jim Banks, yes, an actual U.S. senator, wrote a formal letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. And no, it wasn't a fan letter. He demanded answers, real ones, not the kind where you post a tweet about growing the game. He wants to know why the league's biggest star is being treated like a chew toy.
I mean, she got damn lucky last year Dejanay Carrington didn't literally put her eyeball out. Let's just be honest. We've said what's going to happen if one of these plays injures her for good. Do you think the networks that are going to give all this media money?
And you know who's watching from the shadows like it's a Netflix drama? Donald J. Trump. His administration has a long list of things they love sticking their hands into. And now Clark's situation is right up their alley. This is the same group that launched a Title IX task force, issued warnings to over 60 schools, and literally forced Columbia University to cough up $221 million over civil rights failures. If you think they won't come after the WNBA, you're dreaming.
His discretion, at his disposal, if he finds this to be an issue that's politically expedient for him, that Trump won't use this to feed his base?
Trump sees an opportunity, and he's not dumb enough to ignore it. Clark checks every box. She's talented, she's being mistreated, and she's marketable to middle America. And right now, that base is up for grabs. If Trump grabs this narrative and runs with it, national headlines are incoming. Fox News will eat this up like it's Thanksgiving dinner. And if the league doesn't act fast, it won't just be Clark's name trending. It'll be subpoenas and Senate hearings.
That's willing to demand change, proposing federal standards barring men.
And you'd think with all this going on, the WNBA would lay low, play smart, maybe not draw more attention to themselves, but nope. What do the players do? They show up wearing shirts that say, "Pay us what you owe us." The timing couldn't have been worse if they tried. You've got a civil rights grenade ticking under your feet and the unions over there lighting sparklers.
Pay us what you owe us. Antagonizing the league. You know, with pending CBA negotiations coming.
Immediately after that little fashion statement, the Wall Street Journal piece hits, then the Senate attention, then Labor Department review requests. Back-to-back disasters like it's a PR apocalypse. The players want a stronger CBA. Great. But now the league has to answer, why should we give you more money when your entire revenue model nosedives the second Clark takes a day off? That's not a rhetorical question. It's going to be in the negotiation room.
Caitlin Clark is that box office attraction. Initially, we thought that the league was being jeopardized because if she's not able to play every night, it compromises their numbers, revenue-wise, ratings-wise, attendance-wise, etc.
Clark's abuse has now become evidence. The internal jealousy? Now part of the case. The very people asking for more power just exposed themselves. This civil rights mess is bleeding into the CBA talks, poisoning every room it enters, and now the league is cornered. Protect Clark and you admit you've been ignoring her abuse for a year. Don't protect her and you let federal investigators kick the door down. Congrats, you played yourselves. Gino Auriemma, the man who coached more elite women than the WNBA has ever managed to sign, didn't hold back either. He said Clark is being targeted, and he compared her to Michael Jordan's early years, except Jordan was protected. Jordan got rules changed to keep him upright. Clark? She gets elbowed in the jaw and told to toughen up.
She's being targeted. I don't remember when Michael Jordan came into the league, guys looking to go out and beat him up. Only the Detroit Pistons were looking to beat him up. And then after that, the New York Knicks with Pat Riley and Ewing and Anthony Mason
and Dick Vitale, the most enthusiastic voice in college basketball, called it straight up jealousy. Pure, unfiltered, petty jealousy in player voting. He wasn't hinting, he was exposed. It's not just whispers anymore. Players, coaches, analysts, legends. They're all saying the same thing. The league is failing its biggest star, and when that many insiders say it out loud, it stops being drama. It becomes documentation. Even Adam Silver, who acts like this is not his league, is getting dragged into it. Sorry, Adam, you can't just pretend you're not responsible when the WNBA is under the NBA's wing. If this blows up, your name's going to be right there next to Engelbert's on every headline. The NBA's reputation is already fragile. This could shatter it.